Thrust MIT was established in February 2016 by a group of 7 engineering freshmen from the Manipal Institute of Technology. The team was founded to promote rocketry as a hobby in India and to compete in various intercollegiate rocketry and other related engineering competitions against the best rocketry teams from across the world. The team has since grown and currently has 27 student members divided operationally into the following subsystems: aerodynamics, avionics, management, propulsion, payload and research, and structures. The team is primarily funded by its university, the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, but also receives product, financial, and service support from its various sponsors. The team had participated in its first Spaceport America Cup in 2018 with its rocket Boom, and again in 2019 with its rocket Aryan. The team will be entering the 2021 Spaceport America Cup with the latest rocket, Phoenix. Phoenix is the result of over 2 years of work by the team members and is our most ambitious project till date. Phoenix is designed for the 10K COTS category and has an estimated apogee of 10,600 feet. The rocket fuselage has a monocoque structure with an outer diameter of 15 centimeters and a fuselage thickness of 2 millimeters. The rocket stands at 3.2 meters and, when fully loaded, has a wet mass of 38 kilograms and a dry mass of 26.7 kilograms. The rocket is propelled by the N-class Sessoroni N2200 motor. A few major aspects of a rocket includes the SRAT flight computer as well as a camera bay that was incorporated for recording the flight. Phoenix also carries a non-deployable 3U CubeSat payload, which is designed for carrying out vibration-based experiments.
A carbon fiber composite was used to manufacture most of the rocket airframe. The avionics bay has a body tube of glass fiber to allow telemetry. An internal carbon fiber based coupler was used to attach two body tubes together. For the layup, male molds were used for the body tubes and the couplers were made using female molds. All the parts were coated with paint to remove any blemishes and to improve the aerodynamic characteristics of the airframe. All the bays were separated using CNC manufactured aluminum 6061 bulkheads, and stringers were used to provide additional structural stability. The nose cone was split into two parts for ease of manufacturing. The nose cone tip was made using aluminum 6061 and the rest using carbon fiber. The nose cone base is extended by 10 centimeters to allow for an attachment to the rest of the rocket. A nose cone bulkhead made of WPC with an eye bolt fixed to it is attached at the bottom to tie the shock cords. A single custom-made female mold is used to perform the layup for the nose cone body and shoulder. At the bottom end of the recovery bay, a piston cylinder arrangement is used to eject the parachute. An aluminium cylinder containing black powder is placed on top of the bulkhead and an aluminium piston covers the cylinder. Upon detection of apogee, a nichrome bridge wire ignites the black powder, thus pushing the piston out. This causes the shear pins that hold the nose cone to the rocket to break, thus ejecting the parachute. The interior of the avionics bay consists of a PLA-based 3D printed mount to house the flight computer and other necessary components. This mount consists of lengthwise slits to accommodate the altimeters. This mount has been fixed to the stringers using M4 bolts and rests on top of the bulkhead. A hole has been made on the side of the airframe to provide access for the arming key switch. Two holes have been made diametrically opposite to each other to provide for wiring for the punch antennas of the SRAD flight computer.
Moving further through the length of the rocket, we house the camera in the camera bay to record the flight path. An external camera module is used as shown here, which uses mirrors to help record the required field of view. There are two diametrically opposite, identical camera modules on the rocket to prevent an imbalance in aerodynamic forces. Internally, there is a simple arrangement to house the battery and the electronics safely during flight. The electronics are mounted on the bulkhead and an aluminium plate by use of bolts. Moving on to the payload bay. The CubeSat payload is mounted on the thrust plate and is given additional support on the top by use of an aluminium ring plate. This setup ensures maximum safety as well as design simplicity. Now comes the motor bay. It consists of a CNC manufactured aluminium thrust plate and a WBC damper for protecting the rocket against any shocks and vibrations from the motor. The damper slots in the middle to allow a snug fit for the motor head. A M10 bolt connects the thrust plate damper and the motor together and prevent its axial and tangential movement. There are a set of three aluminum centering rings used along the length of the motor to prevent any thrust imbalances moving the motor radially. An aluminum retainer is used at the bottom of the motor to further prevent any axial movements. Four aluminum fins comprise the fin system. Each fin is individually welded to a plate. Later, the plate is bolted to the middle of the centering rings and the stringer to give a safe attachment during flight. The final component is the boat tail at the bottom of the rocket, made of carbon fiber with a thickness of 2 mm. It is manufactured using a female mold and has a shoulder to attach it to the rocket fuselage.
Our team started with OpenRocket software to get a preliminary design of the rocket to work on. The OpenRocket software simulations helped us to get an estimate of the rocket's trajectory and kinematics during the flight and how the rocket is going to look like. The shape profile of the nose cone is von Karman or LD-HAC with a fineness ratio of 3:1. It is best suited for subsonic and transonic flight and has excellent drag characteristics. A boat tail is also attached at the aft section of the rocket to prevent flow separation and wake, which in turn reduces the drag. The OpenRocket software simulations helped us to choose a 4-fin trapezoidal fin set with a rectangular cross section to get the required stability, which came around 1.8 caliber at the launch rod.
SRAD Flight Computer. Avionics makes its own SRAD flight computer, whose key components include the Arduino MKR0, BMP388, and the XB Pro RF module. The flight computer is responsible for the following major purposes. Data logging. Flight data is very useful for the team to perform tests and analyze the flight. Avionics ensures that whatever useful data is available from the sensors on board is stored securely in a micro SD card. Parachute deployment. It is the main function of the flight computer. In the current flight, a reefing mechanism is employed for which two lines are fired by an SRAT and a COTS altimeter. The main charges will be ejected by the COTS altimeter and the SRAT is used for redundancy. Telemetry. Flight computer transmits necessary data, that is the pressure data and the GPS to the ground station. The altitude of the rocket is then determined using these pressure values. GPS. The GPS coordinates of the rocket are also transmitted via telemetry to aid in recovery. Double redundancy is implemented for GPS tracking with one SRAT and one COTS. SRAT ignition system. Over the years, the team has been developing our own wireless ignition system for in-house testing of various components, such as the motor. This system shall be implemented in a future project. It consists of two main components, namely the transmitter and the receiver. The transmitter consists of three switches: safety, arm, and launch. A launch command is sent when the switches are properly turned on. At the receiver side, a solid-state relay module latches after the launch command gets received.
To analyze relevant data in real time, we have developed our own plotter using a software called Qt. The key features of this plotter are: it supports plotting of live data from serial port or a text file. We can scroll through the graph to any given timestamp to study it. All the data received is stored automatically to avoid any data loss. It employs CRC, which is cyclic redundancy check, to detect and remove any faulty data. For post-flight analysis, the rocket houses a RunCam Split 3 light, which is capable of recording video at 1080p 60 fps. This camera will record and store relevant data throughout the flight. To improve on the current design, we're developing a system on board flight computer. And we're also working on making a video telemetry system using 5.8 gigahertz RF modules. This will help us analyze the flight better at any given point.
The payload is the crux of a sounding rocket. Our sounding rocket Phoenix was redesigned with some of its bays, the payload bay, and the structure of the payload itself being revamped so that this whole project can become a test bed for launch load and vibrational load testing. Our payload is integrally machined from three separate blocks of aluminum. It's a 3U CubeSat, and its aim is to subject novel medical materials called nanobiopolymers to launch loads to see how they react to these loads. we have selected applications of these materials which are relevant to astronauts, which will be very soon going into deep space missions or spending extended periods of time in orbit. So we have selected materials that can be used to treat radiation damage, that can be used to treat infections and deliver other drugs. We'll be using PLGA, alginate nanoparticles for drug delivery of streptomycin, and we'll be using agarose nanoparticles for delivery of stem cells to heal tissues that have been damaged from radiation. So these two materials will be kept in the bottommost U of our payload, and will be subjected to launch conditions of approximately 6 Gs, and we will see if they will still be medically viable after being subjected to those conditions. We believe that it is too complex to manufacture on Earth, and as of right now, our knowledge is limited about these novel materials, and they need to be sent up to space from Earth. So, aside from this, we have on the second U, that is the middle U of the CubeSat, electronics and battery pack to log data from a piezoelectric transducer on the third U of the payload, which will be logging the vibration profile of the rocket in flight. A similar sensor is placed in the avionics bay, and together these sensors will help profile the vibration propagation in the rocket, and also help us characterize exactly the types of conditions that the medical materials went through.
Recovery of the rocket is done by the reefing method, in which the main chute is reefed to a smaller diameter that acts like a drogue chute until around 1500 feet, where the reefing lines are cut and the parachute fully opens. The parachute has a diameter of 360 centimeters with a 10-panel hemispherical design that safely brings the rocket down with a ground head velocity of below 10 meters per second. For disreefing the parachute, our team uses an in-house designed reefing line cutter. Now I'll move on to talk about the mission concept of operations. In the first step, we assemble the rocket, making sure to inspect all the connections, and then move on to load the rocket onto the launch pad. After igniting the motor, the rocket lifts off into powered flight until motor burnout, where the coasting phase begins. At the end of the coasting phase, the rocket reaches apogee, where the drogue chute is deployed and initial descent takes place, reducing the drift distance. When the rocket reaches an optimum altitude, the parachute is disreefed and the rocket lands safely. Finally, the retrieval team set out to recover the landed rocket.
At Thrust MIT, we strive to apply the most sound and effective engineering principles in our pursuit of developing and building the most efficient and robust rockets without compromising on safety. To that end, we have developed a series of stringent safety protocols to ensure the safety of all those involved during the building and testing of our rockets. Phoenix is the culmination of the hard work and dedication put in by the team over the course of 2 years, which included a very challenging period which had required us to design and develop the rocket remotely without compromising on our core principles. The team was able to overcome this hurdle and grow in the face of adversity. We would like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video and for this opportunity to participate in the Virtual Spaceport America Cup 2021.